Hi, Todd. Just to respond to the email question you sent to me. So I wasn't comparing Reg A Plus to an S1. I was explaining how in a direct listing, and this would apply in an S1 or an S1 direct listing or in a Reg A Plus direct listing. It's the same in both cases, that you already have enough investors on board in order to be qualified to list on the NASDAQ or the NYSE. And so then there's simply a logistical process of getting the existing shareholders to transfer their shares to the state where they are now liquid and tradable on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. And there is a small amount of effort involved with those investors to do that. Typically, that'll be an approval that they make in their transfer agent account. That would apply in an S1 and in a Reg A Plus direct listing. The point that I was making is that unlike in a traditional underwritten IPO where all the stock sales are done, if it's oversubscribed, then there's a surge in the stock price that expires as soon as the buyers that wanted to buy have bought in the aftermarket. In the case of a direct listing, what took place with the Reg A Plus IPO that I emailed to you earlier today was that because it was a gradual process of existing shareholders making their shares tradable in that case, on the NASDAQ, there was a shortage of shares to buy. So all the buying interest there was an excessive buying interest over available shares. And as a result, the share price was bid up quite nicely in the day or two following their direct listing. So you can essentially imagine how that could work in a typical direct listing, where you kind of gradually bring the shares onto the market. Of course, any particular shareholder has no requirement to immediately change the status of their shares so they are publicly tradable. Over time, they all will for various and sundry obvious reasons. But the fact that it happens gradually can be an advantage. That was the point I was trying to make, is that it can be an advantage. Of course, you wouldn't do a public listing, a direct listing, if you only had 400 investors, because you need to get enough liquid investors with their shares trading to satisfy the liquidity requirements of the NASDAQ or the NYSE. But with 5,000 investors, you could quickly meet the minimums required to be considered a valid tradable stock and still have limited availability, which would be a nice thing. So that's all. That was the point I was making there. Hopefully this is clear.